Today on Getting Real with the Housewives, Erika Jayne fires back at Jennifer Lawrence as Diana Jenkins is suing bots that attack Garcelle's son. Plus, Cynthia Bailey reveals that she'll make the jump from Atlanta to Beverly Hills.
Whether it's Beverly Hills, Atlanta, I'm still on my break. Like, it hasn't even been a year yet. Like, I need a break right now.
And we break down that intense fight in Aspen as we get the first part of the Atlanta reunion. We've got that plus so much more on today's Getting Real with the Housewives. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here, and I'm so excited to be joined by our friend Jamin Jamming and Alexander Hankin. Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you, Christina?
Good.
How are you?
Good. Alexander, I know that you and the Housewives go way back, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your connection to the Housewives.
Yeah, so I'm a real estate developer by day, art writer, and columnist by night. I'm really good friends with Jill Zarin and Meredith Marks, and we've all kind of met through being out in the city and the charity world.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. And are you so excited for the upcoming season of Salt Lake City? Can you spill any tea that Meredith gave you?
I am really excited. I know it's going to be a really interesting season, and Meredith is just like such a star and such an icon. So I think you're going to get to see some new friendships and new dynamics this season that you haven't got to see before.
I am so excited. I cannot wait. And I know that you were actually in Aspen when this fight took place. So when we break it all down, you're going to have to tell us some behind the scenes scoop of what happened.
I definitely will. Aspen is a special place in my heart. So it's really interesting that I'm on this week with you.
I love it so much. All right. Well, before we get into the news of the week, I wanted to check in to see what some of our viewers had to say about last week. Chris said Erika showing her true colors. Lisa and Derick trying to save Erika's sinking ship. Vile Kyle jumping ship, finally realizing she doesn't want to drown as well. Sarah says, keep Kyle, but take the posse away. Bye, Renna. Bye, Erika. Bye, Derick. Bye, Diana. I'll give Crystal one more chance. Love Garcelle and Kathy. And of course, Sutton shouldn't go anywhere either. Jamin, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about this cast and how does it need to change, if it does?
Well, I love the villains. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we need to, I feel like Crystal is doing a great job calling Derick out last night. By the very end of it, I think that's Crystal just 100% not giving a flying F. She's like, you know what? I'm actually kind of done with this group. And so she says whatever she wants. She says what she feels about the victims. And I think, I'm not sure why Derick is siding with Erika. I guess they have built a real friendship during the years. Because when they first got on, they were not friends. Am I right?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. I don't know.
And I like this cast, except for Diana. I think Lisa Rinna is going through a hard time. But as I said, going through a hard time in the Housewives is good because we get to see you being a mess.
Yes, we like the mess. Unfortunately for them, it's not a good time in their lives, but we do enjoy the mess. All right. Well, speaking of Erika, she was on Watch What Happens Live last night. And earlier this week or last week, Jennifer Lawrence, as we know, she's a big Housewives fan, but she is not feeling Erika Jayne this season. She told Variety, it's not a great season, but I'll finish it. Brian and I have quit Dubai and we're done with Dubai. But my biggest problem with this season is that it's just boring. And I think that Erika is evil. I would go as far as to say that she needs a publicist ASAP. Well, Erika said on Watch What Happens Live, it's easy to label people when they are at their absolute lowest, going to something in real time on television. But anytime that she would like to come on down and mix it up with us, I'm sure that we can unmask the ugly parts of her personality as well. Oh, Erika firing back some shots. Alexander, I know that you watched Erika on Watch What Happens Live last night. What did you think of her appearance on the show? Was there anything that surprised you?
I actually think that she came across really well. And I think that it was like the perfect response to Jennifer Lawrence. And maybe it's the lawyer in me, I kind of like understand a little bit about what Erika's saying. And I like that she said, like, come on the show and we'll see what you have to like bring to it, because it is true. The show and being on the cameras and having that pressure really brings out a different side to you.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jamin, what about you?
I love when Michael Rappaport with Erika Jayne get together because they're such a fun duo, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like Michael Rappaport is giving Erika Jayne too much of a pass. it's like everything that Erika Jayne has done is okay in Michael Rappaport's eyes. I guess that's the reason why Andy was having Michael Rappaport on. I think actually Jennifer Lawrence is giving Erika Jayne a huge gift by calling her evil, because now Jennifer Lawrence is putting Erika Jayne in front of the world, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Giving her a bigger platform that she already has. Well, this is interesting. So Diana Jenkins is suing bots who cyberbullied Garcelle's son, Jax, because she's getting blamed for the attacks. In her lawsuit, she said dozens, if not hundreds of people have posted messages attacking Miss Jenkins for an act that she never took. This action is the only way Miss Jenkins has to fight back against the anonymous coward who decided to put her reputation, livelihood, and life in jeopardy. It was reported that she had to hire 24/7 security following the incident. I mean, it's really hard for me to defend anything Diana does. It really is.
I mean,
well, Hankin is a lawyer. What do you think about Diana suing the bot?
I mean, I think it's a bit of deflection. I mean, you have to say alleged with anything with Miss J, because, you know, she files flights. She's been a little trigger happy lately, but, you know, I just think it's deflecting from things. And I think the real issue is that she's been around a lot of yes people in Hollywood and the way she's lived her life. And I think I think she didn't really realize what she was signing up for getting on this show. And I think that, like, maybe just step back and take a chill pill and laugh at yourself a bit, because I mean, suing bots, I don't even know how you sue bots. Like, is she suing a company? None of it makes any sense to me. But I think it's all just deflecting. Yeah.
A lot of people had I mean, it was a good thing that when she donated, you know, $100,000 to the victims of the Lion Air aircraft. And, you know, Erika spoke about it last night on Watch What Happens Live as well. But a lot of people were saying, you know, it's just timing. She's just doing this to make herself look good. Jamin, what did you think about that?
I think that's actually throwing a huge. I was personally entertained by that when the news broke out, but then that was actually good for Diana. I think a lot of fans have been very disappointed by Diana this season, and then she came out, you know, donated $100K. That was great, but then she missed the reunion. Yeah. I'm like, girl, you're doing one step forward and then 5 steps back. Thou should know, as a housewife, you never miss the reunion. Yeah. Never.
No, that is so true. That takes us into our next story, because they did say that she had COVID. She did make a virtual appearance, though. But, you know,
we all have COVID. How about that?
Yeah, I know. So it's always a little suspect. You know, had COVID, you're missing the reunion. It's been a tough season. I don't know. But Andy did post some videos and some photos from the reunion. And it looks like it's going to be really intense. He said, Kyle sarcastically said in a video clip, I feel like it's going fantastic, beautifully, Andy, as expected. He said that the bombshells were already dropped, and that was early on in the show. But Erika said last night she said on Watch What Happens Live that they didn't take a cast photo, and that's something that they usually always do following the reunion. So it seems like nobody really left on good terms.
They could not even take a photo together. They were so pissed at each other. You know what? I'm just not doing this 1 second photo thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're going to get a 4-parter on this one.
So too.
Oh, wow. Hankin, great prediction. Christina, I have a question for you and Hankin. Why was Kyle so upset by Derick not showing up to the hat store? Why do you think the reason behind that is? Because, you know, Hankin goes out a lot. I go out a lot. If I miss something that Hankin is hosting, that's just one day, dude. I don't think Hankin cares. And, you know, sometimes Hankin misses my thing, and I don't care either. Why was Kyle so triggered by Derick not showing up to the hat thing? Christina, what do you think the reason behind that is?
It had nothing to do with the hat thing. I think it was because that she chose a side and she didn't choose Kyle. She chose Erika. And I think Kyle feels like Derick is part of her family. And for her to not choose Kyle over Erika, I think that spoke volumes to her.
That is very true.
I would agree.
What do you think?
I think similarly, I also think that, remember, Kyle's an executive producer, and I think she always wants everyone to choose her side. And I think she doesn't remember, all the cast always calls her out as being a pot stirrer, and Kyle does not see herself being that. So I think that this is, one of those instances where, people do choose sides. And I think Kyle just thinks like she's the one everyone should always choose.
Definitely. All right. We're going to talk more about Beverly Hills in just a second, but we got to talk about Joe Giudice showing some love for Teresa. She is about to go on Dancing with the Stars. And he said, congratulations to my ex. Don't forget to vote for Teresa. I know you have been trying to get on Dancing with the Stars for quite some time. Go get it. I mean, what do you think of him being a supportive ex? Was that also like a little dig at her? Like, I think he's trying forever to get on this show.
I think it's ridiculous. Like, just go away. Like, live in Barbados or wherever the hell you are.
Oh, Juicy Joe. Gotta love it. All right. Well, let's get into this week's Real Talk. And we recently caught up with Cynthia Bailey, who revealed to us if she would ever return to Atlanta or even make the jump to Beverly Hills. Take a look. There's always been talk about you possibly joining the cast of Beverly Hills. Has that, have those conversations manifested at all? Is that something that maybe in the back of your mind, if you decide to return to reality TV, that maybe would be the avenue that you decide to go down?
You know what? I'm not close to it, but it's just not something that I'm focused on right now, whether it's Beverly Hills, Atlanta. I'm still on my break. Like, it hasn't even been a year yet. Like, I need a break right now because when I do it, if I ever do come back, whether it's whatever franchise it is, I could decide to move to Dubai in a couple of years. I don't know.
I would love that too.
Exactly. In terms of whatever it is, I just want to be able to come back refreshed and, just in a happier place and just less heaviness of filming. I think that, I don't ever want to rule it out because I just honestly don't know how I will feel in a couple of years, to be honest. But for now, I'm really enjoying my break and I'm really enjoying focusing on the acting.
Good. Would you say that the show does take a toll on like your mental health and things like that? Like, because you're like, you're constantly on, like you said, this is like 7 to 8 months out of the year. You're constantly on, constantly doing this, constantly rehashing past drama and things like that. So it's got to be a lot.
You know what it is? And I think the reason why it's so hard emotionally and mentally and spiritually now is because of social media, to be honest, because we have to shoot it and then we have to watch it and then we have to promote it. And then, we have to get the feedback from all the fans. And unfortunately, all the fans are not positive. And it's like, you try to like, oh, let me just block them or let me not read the comments, and you read the comments. So it just ends up being like, oh my God, like how many, okay, like you didn't like the choice I made in the scene, like, what are you going to do? Just drag me for the rest of my life? You know what I'm saying? So it just gets to the point where I love the days where you could just watch TV and you just watch the show and you moved on. You couldn't go and tweet about it. You couldn't go and talk about it on Instagram. You couldn't do like mean memes and stuff like that. Like you just watched it back in the old days that I enjoyed. And you just moved on. You just watched the next thing. So.
So what do you think? I mean, Cynthia does part-time in Los Angeles, part-time in Atlanta. Would you ever want to see her back on Atlanta, or would you like to see her maybe get in the mix on Beverly Hills?
I don't think Cynthia could handle herself on Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm. I know this is a strong group.
I think her.
Well, I think. Hankin, I think. What do you think? What about Cynthia starting as a friend?
I think she could maybe be a friend, but I think, kind of her attitude the last season of Atlanta, and especially on Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, she just seems so over it and like not willing to play the game. And I feel like if you're not willing to play like the game of Housewives and like get into it, you can't go on television. And I'm just worried she would go on Beverly Hills and just be like sitting on the sideline. She'd basically be kind of like Cherie is this season, not where we don't even see her.
Right. No, definitely. I do feel bad for Cherie this season. Let's get into our recap of this week and kick it off with Beverly Hills. I do feel bad for Cherie. There's just so much going on that she cannot like get in the mix. I hope that they do bring her back next season so we can learn a little bit more about her, because I feel like her storyline was kind of pushed to the the side for obvious reasons with everything going on with Erika, with Sutton, with Diana. And now we've finally gotten to like this huge Aspen moment. We are on like this cliffhanger about what happens with Kathy and Lisa. Alexander, I know that you were in Aspen. So tell us, you were in Aspen when this happened. So tell us the tea. Give us the tea. What do you know?
So I don't know like a lot. I did see them filming. You know, we were at the restaurant across from where they were filming last week. I can tell you that Kathy was outside in the middle of dinner for 45 minutes, FaceTiming, I don't even know who, with her like little barrette and like grandma teacher sweater, which was just so adorable. But I know, because we're members of the same club where they went, Caribou Club in Aspen. And I know that she said, from what I heard, it's something problematic to the bartender. I know there are also rumors out there that it was to the DJ, and someone said it was to Sutton's assistant. So I think we'll see. But I think that, you know, from everything we saw this week, she's fired up and I think just got a little bit too carried away. And I think the real Kathy Hilton is what we're seeing now, and less of I think the act is being dropped a bit.
Yeah.
Christina, I need to ask Hankin one more question. So Hankin had a personal interaction with Kathy Hilton, and you might have heard something that Kathy said?
No. So I'm a member of the club where they went, and I heard from the people who worked there, like right after all of this. What did you hear? I heard that there were some not so great words that came out of her mouth.
Oh, wow.
Oof.
Christina, this is a real life, kind of a second vicarious real life witness, don't you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. No,
So Hankin, which side are you on, Lisa Rinna or Kathy Hilton?
I mean, I still like Kathy. Like, I know I'm sure, you know, the Hiltons over the years have had plenty of problematic things come out of their mouths, but they're very entertaining. And like, you know, Kathy's just a woman of a certain age and of a certain socioeconomic class. And, you know, that just kind of happens. It's like not making an excuse for it, but it makes for great television.
I mean, it can't be. I mean, I'm sure it's. I don't know. I can't speculate. I have no idea what she said, but I mean, she's still going to be at BravoCon, so it's not like she is
Exactly.
hiding. And you know, it seems like, you know, maybe she's okay after this, or maybe she wants to explain herself. I mean, we're gonna have to see. It doesn't seem like cameras caught the moment. So
I don't think, from what I've heard, no one. It was between her and someone else who worked there. And I don't think anyone else was actually there. So I think it is all like secondhand.
Sure. Yeah. It's like, who said this? And then, I mean, obviously it seems like she and Lisa get into it because these text messages come out that she was screaming in the Sprinter van and throwing things. And then Kathy says that she wanted Lisa to be silent, but you know, Lisa's not going to be silent. So
I think what probably happened is Kathy acted a bit of a diva and maybe said something not so great. And
to whom?
I don't know exactly. And I think that Rinna has made the situation worse and embellished it. That like, because they were already at odds.
Rinna loves embellishing a story.
Yeah.
She does. And she loves stirring the pot too. I mean, we saw that when she decided to drink the 818 tequila and kind of throw it in Kathy's face. Yes, she said in her confessionals that like she didn't do it on purpose, but you know that she 100% did that on purpose.
I mean, we've all had enough. I can understand if every scene, Kathy's like, it's Casa del Sol.
Right.
Let's drink up. It's aged in a barrel. You know, it's just like she's on an infomercial. Mind you, like Rinna Rosé and like Moo-Moo's by Kyle and like whatever else they're hawking, like Erika Jayne's clip-in hair, like it's all very infomercial. So like they all need to look in the mirror a bit.
Right. But I'm sure like if Kathy went up and ordered a Vanderpump wine instead of Rinna Rosé, Lisa would be pissed.
And she should.
She should. She should.
I have to defend Kathy Hilton on this one, because if I have something to promote and the person who's allegedly my friend right in front of me went out and ordered something completely different to support another human being that's not even on Beverly Hills Housewives, I will be super pissed. Because you know what? This Aspen trip has been a huge, like Hankin said, an infomercial for Kyle and Mauricio's agencies I think that's a condo, right? I think that's like a vacation home in Aspen. And that's a lot of advertisement for the agency. So for a gigantic apartment, for a gigantic house in the Aspen. So can Kathy Hilton promote something? Like, let her have something.
Yeah,
and I feel like Kyle was provoking her all the way throughout. Do you feel that, Ken? Kyle was provoking Kathy?
No, I don't feel that at all. And I mean, like, I'll say I was out with Sonia Morgan at the Christian Cowan show, and there were bottles of Casa del Sol. And Sonia said, I got to get a photo with it. Kathy Hilton's my good friend, and I'm going to promote her tequila. Woo! So I'm like, the girls should be, promoting each other instead of kind of.
Got to lift each other up.
The Kardashians aren't even on this network.
Right.
It's being a good friend.
So true. So, yeah. It's so true. I mean, what were your thoughts about Erika wearing these earrings that were, talking about how much they are, how they went up in value from $750,000 to $1.3 million, wearing these earrings, kind of flaunting them, and also not being able to forgive Kyle in 2 seconds and not being able to forgive Sutton over the course of 2 years?
I mean, I've definitely turned a corner with Erika where I get what she's trying to say, but I don't think she can articulate it as well as she thinks she does. Mm-hmm. She's not the lawyer that she thinks she is. I understand saying until someone says I have to give these up, I'm not giving them up. Mm-hmm. Like, they're mine until they're proven that they're not mine. I totally understand that. And I don't think, and she did, she said last night on Watch What Happens Live, mm-hmm. that it was ruled that she had to give them up, and she gave them up with no argument. And I think, it's the same thing with the victims. I think what she's trying to say is, and she said it much better to Kyle later, is I'm not the one who did this. Girardi Keys did this, and it's their responsibility. I think the problem is they go after her when she's drinking, and she is not aware enough to calm herself down. She doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah. Jamin, what about you? What do you think?
I would like to quote our dear friend Jennifer Lawrence that Erika Jayne is evil. But I would like all of us to think about this for a moment. Jump outside of this Beverly Hills hot mess for a little bit. Are we seeing one of the greatest villains in TV history being made right now? Like, I think Erika Jayne is on her way to become one of the greatest villains in the history, and we need to protect her, kind of. That's my opinion. I want to see more of her.
I don't want her to get off my screen.
No, I don't either. No, but I actually have to agree with, I think Diana made this point last night when they were like in the ski shop when she said, well, remove yourself from this situation. If this wasn't you, like if you're just looking at this from an outside perspective, would you still have sympathy for the victims? And she really couldn't even answer it that way either. Yeah, like, it's just, that was bad. It's like, yes, you can have sympathy for these people. Yes, you don't feel like you didn't directly affect them, but yes, the money that you were spending did belong to somebody else. So it's like she has to like kind of wrap her head around this and not speak in legal jargon all the time, because it's not so black and white.
I mean, she doesn't really speak in legal jargon. She's just
right. That's true.
Erika Cartman, honestly. Like, she is Erika Cartman, like doing these crazy monologues, and I'm here for it. Yes,
no, totally. And Sutton made a good point, or Garcelle, like, why can't she forgive me, but she can forgive Kyle for going off on her? It's a total double standard, and how they were laughing about it afterwards too. I just feel like Garcelle, Crystal, and Sutton are just like, I need to remove myself from this situation immediately.
I think they can't stand how popular Sutton, Garcelle, and Crystal are with the fans. Mm-hmm. I think that's what they won't break the fourth wall and say, and I wish they would. I think that's where it stems from. They've come on new. They feel like this is their show, and these women are just so insanely popular. Like, you have like Sutton's army of like the Sluttons who come for everyone online. And I think that it makes them crazy. And I think Kyla's executive producer tries to like sit on the fence, but these other girls are her friends off camera. They're Fox Force 5 or whatever.
Yeah. Do you think, Jamin, do you think Kyle redeemed herself at all in these past couple episodes? Because a lot of people were calling for her to get off this show. I mean, obviously, probably not, because she is an executive producer, but a lot of people were not happy with Kyle this season. But do you feel like she kind of turned a corner a little bit?
Well, I feel like Kyle is about finally, after all these years, about to enter a great villain stage of her life. And I hope that she accepts it, that she is a posturer. She was so triggered last night for so many different reasons. I was just kind of like, is this the real Kyle all the way through from, back in season 1 to all the way now? And now we are finally seeing it? Or she was just having a moment in Aspen? What do you think? Do you think that was the real Kyle that we are seeing last night, Christina? Because you watched the Housewives from OG days to now.
I think so. I think I kind of like how I said before. I mean, I think that what's great about Beverly Hills is that this is a real friendship group. And that's why real emotions do come out, because, she was very upset that 2 of her very close friends kind of went against her. And she said, even Erika said this was the first fight that they had in like 7 or 8 years since they've been friends with each other. So I think like what you saw was a real emotion, and her not being fake and not, being really hurt by 2 of her really good friends. So I definitely think that this was the real Kyle that we saw last night. I do. But let's move on. Let's move on over to Atlanta, because we got our first part of the reunion. And, it was really emotional at the end, especially with Marlo talking about her past and what an unbelievably terrible and tragic childhood she had, bouncing from foster home to foster home, being with abusive families and things like that. It was hard to listen to.
It was. I mean, I think I love Marlo. I'm still like such a Marlo fan, even after this season. And we have the same person on speed dial, actually. But I just thought it was really nice to see her actually be vulnerable. And I think that maybe had she done that throughout the season, that it would have been a much better season for her.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead.
I love this Atlanta part 1 reunion. I think it's a great mix. It's like a great Casa del Sol cocktail. You have something spicy, you have something sweet, but overall, it's a very well balanced first part reunion. I was really surprised by how well the reunion was. Just a chop, 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 chop. It was funny. It was camp. And there were some real moments like Marlo and Candy, and I appreciate that for Atlanta. This is actually one of very good seasons of Atlanta. And I feel like fans need to watch it more in a way that we do not need to get someone arrested like Erika Jayne or Jane Shaw for us Housewives fans to tune in. We can just enjoy regular, cool women hanging out like the Real Housewives of ATL.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think like you said, you don't need this over the top drama. Yes, people don't need to be arrested. People don't need to do all this stuff. Like, it's just nice to watch a friendship group gel together. And I do feel like we need to give this group one more season to really kind of get in the rhythm together, because, we had some new faces. We had some old people come back, but I think we just need one more season for this group to really gel. And I think it'll be, maybe one of the best. I really enjoyed it. And the Candy and Marlo going back and forth. And even when Kenya said that Marlo wasn't the housewife that she thought she was going to be, she needed to be that good friend, and she didn't have to be mean. You don't have to go to do these over the top things to get the airtime. Just be you, and people will fall in love with you.
Yeah. Can I just say my favorite moment, though, was when Kenya had to explain to Sheree that you have to pay people even if you aren't happy with the job that they do. And that was like a mind-blowing concept to Sheree.
Like,
that was a mind-blowing concept to Sheree.
Definitely. I cannot wait for part 2 of this reunion. I cannot wait to wrap up Aspen with a messy little bow that we're going to do next week. But Alexander, Jamin, thank you so much for running down all things Housewives with me. This was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, for much more on the Housewives, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.